This term simply means that the person has an enduring sexual or romantic attraction to minors. They've not chosen this attraction.
Paedophiles. That's what it is. If you've got a sexual attraction towards a child, you're a paedophile. And there's no way that you can indulge that relationship without it becoming abusive. There is no way. Even if you buy them flowers and chocolates. Hello everybody, welcome back. Thank you for all the new subscribers. I see you guys. I commented back to most of you. A few of you mentioned what's it like on this side of the pond. So I'm making a quick video now. This is a British news station, and yeah, I'll unravel it as we go.
Before I discuss this first topic of the day, I just want to give parents a warning that the next few minutes of conversation is of an adult nature, and you might want to remove your children from the room if you feel that would be appropriate for you. Now, I want to bring your attention to a clip that I came across online this week, which has now been watched almost 2.5 million times. And although it could be dismissed as a one-off from just one woman, I just can't help but suspect that it is a signpost to potentially horrific social change of which we just need to be aware. It features a sex therapist who works for the Keystone State of Pennsylvania in America, which describes itself as proudly founded in 1681 as a place of tolerance and freedom. Now, don't get me wrong, tolerance, coexisting with people who are causing no harm but are not like us, is good. Freedom, if we mean being the architects of our own destiny as far as possible, that is also, of course, good. But I fear that the clip I'm about to show you might be the start of an insidious creep towards the normalising of sexual contact with children. Have a listen.
So before she plays the clip, that's the general consensus amongst people over here. It's the general consensus amongst most European people. It's only in the US that it's getting pushed super hard on you guys. And most people over here don't agree with it, and they see that it is a slippery slope down into paedophilia, because this is where it's going. If you think about it, all of the stuff that's creeping into the classrooms over there about the LGBT and about teaching kids that they can transition, and like Matt Walsh has got his book Johnny the Walrus about how a little boy thinks he's a walrus, so they make him into a walrus. It's getting to the point where it's lunacy now. And we're well aware of it over here, and I'm worried because it's started to creep into our school systems, and I'm getting married in like 3 months. I'll have a kid in like 2 years, and then they'll be in school in 6 years. And this is the future that I'm like blundering into. So this is why I'm making the videos, is to protect children effectively. But yeah, let's play this clip and then we'll see what our British news says about it compared to your guys' corrupted weird shit. I've showed you that video before about this is the danger to a democracy. This is a threat to our democracy. How they were all reading the same script. This is sort of independent of it.
Folks, my name is Miranda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture.
There's a reason for that. Now, when this lady talks about minor attracted persons, what she means is paedophiles. The Latin derivation of that word, of course, is phil, to love, and ped, child.
This is why it's called Philadelphia. Phil, to love, and Delphi, brother, city of brotherly love. This is like, Philadelphia means irrational love of children. Like, philia is an irrational love of. So I'm a technophile. I love technology. I've got too much technology compared to the average person. I'm a technophile. And it's okay to be a technophile, because I'm not hurting anyone. But a paedophile, you're hurting the children. You're hurting a child. There's no way to do it without hurting. Even if you look at child pornography, you are paying somebody or facilitating somebody who's raped a child for those images to be created. There's no way to do it in a non-harmful way. There's no way to do it. It's impossible. It's like if you're a serial killer, like, oh well, he's just a murderer. He just enjoys murdering people. You just have to let him kill. No, there's no way to exercise that will in a good manner. There's no way to do it. So yeah.
But, of course, as we know, there is no love involved in the damaging behaviours which we quite rightly deem criminal. She goes on.
Most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
You see, it's one thing to argue that abusers require help. They do. You will never hear me advocating castration or public floggings. Remember, abusers are commonly former victims themselves. But there is a difference between arguing for understanding and a system which manages or contains these people and blaming others for judging them or trying to make us feel guilty for rejecting, in the harshest terms, such horrific acts.
We are all people first with many different facets or parts of ourselves, and this includes folks who are attracted to minors.
Do you see? Do you see where this is going? You may think a minor attracted person is wrong because they are not the same as you, but everyone has rights.
You see, slippery slope. Everybody has a right to do stuff like, we need to let them do this. We don't. We really don't. We really, really don't. And like she said prior to this pause, like they were often abused themselves, and it's cyclical. It's often a thing that it repeats itself over 20 years. Like you were abused at 9, and then at 29 you abuse, and then they were 7, and at 27 they abuse, and it's just like a weird cycle. They do need help, but to say that it's okay is wrong. To say that it's okay to do it is wrong. Like, to destigmatize it is wrong, because the stigma is part of what stops people doing it. Because look at it this way, right? There's people out there who don't act solely because of the stigma. And if the stigma was not there, they would have enacted their fantasies by now. The stigma is the only thing that has saved hundreds of children. It's literally the only thing. In some cases, that is the only thing that stopped them acting. So to destigmatize it is effectively enabling it. It's not a great thing. But yeah, sorry, I don't mean to pause it all the time.
There's no such thing as good or bad anymore, just a murky moral relativity in which you don't have a right to judge someone who is different to you. Funnily enough, I think we need a very clear, firm line in the sand when it comes to the sexual interference of children. Successful civilizations are built upon the protection of the next generation. A society which does not pride itself on keeping kids happy and safe is one which is heading for annihilation.
It is indeed. Truer words have never been spoken. If humanity does not endeavour to protect its next generation, we will expire. We need them. Like, the same way that our parents sacrificed for us, we need to do it for them. Otherwise, we go out of business. That's it. The stock price collapses. Humanity bankrupt. Like, we need to do it. And if we don't protect them, we're fucking them up. We're not letting them do it. And like, this is why in my last video I said, what happened to just saying no to a child? Like, you can say no to somebody to protect them. If I had a friend who was trying to convince me that it was a good idea for him to jump off the Empire State, I'd be like, no, dude, it's not a good idea. And I'd say no to him. Like, he might not want to hear it, but it's what I need to do to save him, to protect him. Like, deep breath.
Sexual assault, unwanted, coercive or forceful contact of any form is the most effective way of psychologically damaging a young person in both the long and the short term. Some survivors will cope better than others, but a full recovery from such violations is rare.
Let's talk about what a minor attracted person is, or who they are. This term simply means that the person has an enduring sexual or romantic attraction to minors. They've not chosen this attraction.
Paedophiles. That's what it is. If you've got a sexual attraction towards a child, you're a paedophile. And there's no way that you can indulge that relationship without it becoming abusive. There is no way. Even if you buy them flowers and chocolates and try and romance them, that is still inappropriate. You'd still crossed a boundary that you shouldn't have crossed. It's ridiculous that we're even having this discussion. I actually cannot believe this.
Just as the rest of us have not chosen whatever our attraction is. You don't get to choose to be heterosexual or to be gay or whatever you are.
So there she's trying to humanize paedophiles. And in some ways, that is okay. Like, truly understanding what drives people to act so abnormally is critical if we want to stop future crimes. But aligning a criminal act with normal sexual preferences is potentially very dangerous. She makes no effort to illuminate the abnormality of paedophilia. She makes no mention that it is most commonly the result of learned behaviours, a pathological, psychological disorder, which people like this therapist are apparently seeking to normalise. And this is from TikTok. a social media platform owned by the Chinese government and aimed at children. Imagine your daughter or granddaughter experiencing unwanted molestation from an adult and just wondering if she should bring this to someone's attention. Over 90% of child victims know their offender, with almost half of them being a family member. Yeah. But suddenly, this poor child wonders whether she should complain. Maybe this is okay. Maybe this is just like being gay or straight. Maybe she doesn't want to be judged for making a fuss.
And that's the slippery slope that I'm talking about. This is why I think that the LGB Alliance, I think it's called, is completely broken away, because to be transgender and to be homosexual or bisexual or straight are completely different things. And what they've done is they've latched on to the actual authenticity of the fact that homosexuality, you can't really choose it. Like, a lot of it's societal. If it's genetic, it's still up in the air. Like, we don't know if there's a gay gene or not. We don't know if there's a crossover of genes that will make you gay, because theoretically it makes no sense, because if you were gay because of your genes, you wouldn't have any kids and there'd be no gay people. So it can't be wholly genetic. Do you know what I mean? But then again, 2 black people can produce a white baby. So we don't know. We are such a complex creature that to say that you'll have a definitive answer on any of this is foolhardy at best, deluded at worst. But yeah, it's a slippery slope. I mean, they're trying to get the foot in the door using other movements to validate their criminality, is the best word for it, really, isn't it? Because it's criminal. It's immoral to do anything sexual to a child. Everybody knows that's immoral on a base level. But some people just want to try and push the boundary, and it's up to us to hold that boundary firm.
I don't know. Maybe there are people hoping that by the time the guest list to the Epstein-Maxwell parties is released, we'll have all bought into the idea that paedophiles are simply minor-attracted people who deserve our understanding. So all I'm saying is, let us just be awake to this phenomenon, shall we? And keep talking to our children about what's right and what is very, very wrong.
Tom MacDonald says it. They're screaming woke, they're not awake. And it's true. It's very, very true. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I just thought I'd give you a glimpse of what it's like on this side of the pond, so you can see that you're not alone in this fight. Peace.